Hi, my name is Irene, and I am the Community Outreach and Engagement Manager at Winners Healthcare. All month long, we have been giving you information about diabetes awareness. And for me, it's something very dear to my heart. We've given you a lot of information about resources and things to look for, but one of the things that we haven't done as much, and we wanted to take the opportunity to do, is to share what the effect that diabetes has on a family or on you. And for me personally, diabetes had a huge effect because my now 19-year-old daughter was diagnosed at 22 months old with type 1 diabetes. And I just wanted to share with you basically just what that experience was like and how it changed our life. She was a normal 18-month-old toddler. I was a stay-at-home mom I had another son as well. And she just started showing signs of a lot of urinary problems, is what we kept getting told. And for a few months, we just spent a lot of time at the doctor's office thinking that she had a bladder infection or just different bladder problems. So January of 2000 is when we started that whole journey, just at the doctor's office every month, trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And I remember on April 20th, or the week of April 20th, she had gone in, had really gotten sick, just really lethargic, and we just didn't know what was going on. Went in and saw her regular pediatrician and was told yet again she had a bladder infection, so more antibiotics. We went again in, that was Monday, went again in on Wednesday, same thing, still has a bladder infection, still has, just not doing well. On that Friday, I remember that morning that she just, I couldn't keep her awake. She woke up, every morning it was just downing so much water and so much juice because we just didn't know what was wrong. And that particular morning, she woke up long enough to drink a lot of water and then just went back to sleep. What I didn't know at the time is that she was heading for a coma. I called her doctor's office, spoke to the nurse, and luckily my her regular doctor wasn't there that day. And so I told his nurse, I said, I really, really need to get her in. Something is really wrong. So he called me back and he says, well, there's another pediatrician on staff. We can get her in with that doctor. And so he said, but she really wants her to get some labs done before she goes in. So I remember taking her into the lab, and I had to carry her because she couldn't even walk. And I remember there was a little girl in there who was in a wheelchair and kept having to get her throat suctioned out. And I remember just telling myself, whatever it was, that I was going to have the strength to get through this. And again, still really not knowing what was going on, not having any idea that diabetes should have been on my radar. And we got the labs done, got her checked into the exam room, and she just was laying on the exam table, just completely almost, asleep. And the doctor ran in and said, okay, so we're going to take her to the emergency room. We're going to pump her full of some fluids, and then we're going to take her by ambulance, and we're going to take her over to the pediatric ICU in Sacramento. And the nurse walks in and goes, okay, the ICU doctor's on the phone, and the doctor left the room. And she didn't tell me why we were doing all this. I had no idea. And I remember I called my husband, who was working in the Bay Area, and I said, you've got to come home. They're taking her to the hospital. And he said, what's wrong? And I said, I don't know. And the doctor came in, says, okay, we're all set. They're going to take you by ambulance. And I just told her to stop. I said, why are we doing all this? What is wrong? And she said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She said, your daughter has diabetes. And I just remember being floored because I was expecting cancer or something, but diabetes? I had no idea. To me, diabetes that's what older, overweight people had, and they took pills or, took a bunch of shots. I had no idea. How did my 22-month-old baby, how did she get this? And so I just remember that we went through the whole process. We got into the emergency room. She ended up being, in the hospital, in the ICU for about a week. And as many of you have probably experienced, nurses are amazing. Those nurses carried us through this entire experience. That week, we learned how to give shots. We had no idea what the difference was, that it was just a completely different kind of diabetes, totally treated differently. We learned how to give shots. We learned how to count carbs. We learned all kinds of things. And that was 17 years ago. And my daughter is now a freshman in college, and she's on an insulin pump. And I don't even order supplies anymore. She does it all herself, because I remember her doctor telling me, you are raising this child to understand how to take care of herself. And that's exactly what she's doing. So thank you for the opportunity, for letting me share my story, my type 1 diabetes story. Thank you.